Hi everyone, this has been a tough week. After the long weekend, I turned NPR on Tuesday morning and I learned that last Friday, a man on a Portland train was harassing a young Muslim woman and her friend. Remarkably, 3 men decided to intervene on behalf of this young woman and her friend, but tragically, 2 of them were killed by this man spewing hate speech, and 1 man was slashed across the neck. When I was listening to this on the radio, I was just in awe to hear not only 1 person intervened, but 3 people intervened on behalf of these young women. And then, of course, I was just, so sad that 2 of these men died in the course of intervening. I can only imagine how those young women feel and how their families feel, so it's been a weird week. To find out more information on this story, I have links in the description that you can check out if you want more information. For a long time now, I've been wanting to do a video on bystander intervention, and so this just seemed like an appropriate time to do that. Now, let's go back in time for a few minutes to college. In college, I was an advocate for the Student Advocacy Resource Center, or SARC, and at SARC, what we did is we helped clients who were dealing with interpersonal violence, racism, sexual violence, a multitude of different issues that they may have faced, and we connected them with different resources within the community. And during my time at SARC is the first time I heard of bystander intervention. I had experienced it, but I didn't really have a term to put to it. So basically, bystander intervention is when you see something and it doesn't feel right, it feels wrong to you, and you decide to step in to help an individual in that situation. And sadly, bystander intervention does not happen as often as you might think it would, and this is because of the bystander effect. The bystander effect is when a person witnesses a situation and they don't really do anything about it. They're passive when that situation is presented to them. And this can happen for a multitude of reasons. You might think someone else is going to step in, or you look around and you think, oh, this isn't my place to step in and do anything about this. It's none of my business. You might not feel safe. I mean, I have faced situations where I should have intervened and I didn't. After taking this training with SARC and then teaching it to different students within the residence halls and Greek life residences, I became more comfortable in intervening, helping prevent people from drinking and driving, to helping a woman find her friends when she was disconnected from them downtown late one night. So I will try to impart a little bit of this training on you so that you can be an active bystander instead of a passive one, because there's nothing worse than knowing you could have intervened in a situation and feeling super shitty that you didn't do anything about it later. So if you do come across a situation that you're feeling really icky about and you feel like you should intervene, the first thing you should do is make sure that you are safe and that you will not put yourself into harm's way. In general, if you feel that if you see someone harassing someone else or, committing a crime against someone else, just automatically call the police. Now, situations that are really nice is if you have a friend with you and the person you're trying to help maybe it's not a physical situation and, they're just being verbally harassed, but it's still a crime because they're being harassed. Have your friend call the police, and in that time, you can approach the person who's being harassed and sit with them and try to help them. So, again, first, make sure that you are safe, and if you are safe, then feel free to proceed and talk to the person who is being harassed. I would suggest not talking to the person who is harassing the other person, but kind of make a safe little bubble space with that other person. And then once you've made your safe little conversation space, I would then suggest moving them away from the person who is harassing them or the person who may pose a danger to them, so that you have distance between. And hopefully in that time, police can come and help you with the situation. So bystander intervention is for a multitude of different situations that just feel gross. It's in a public space and you're trying to move them away from a person. It could be you're at a bar, it could be at a house party, it could be at home, it could be your neighbors. So there's a multitude of different ways to be a bystander and to actively help people. There was an occurrence where I saw that there was a guy who was drinking heavily at a bar, and then he got out and got in his car. So I knocked on his window and I said, "Hey man, do you want me to call you a cab? Like, I noticed that you were drinking a lot in the bar." And he said, no, I'm fine. So when that took place, I took a picture of his license plate and then I called the police and I gave them the license plate number. And you may be thinking, Sarah, you're a big tattler, but I had witnessed this guy drinking a lot. I saw him get into his car clearly intoxicated, and I don't want him to hurt himself or anyone else. So maybe I'm a tattler, but maybe I saved someone's life. Who knows? Or in the case that you see that someone you know, or maybe you don't know, like at a bar, at a house party, they're being fed a lot of drinks by someone, or maybe they dropped something into their drink. You can intervene in this situation too. It can be as simple as asking a few dumb questions to the person you're trying to help, or even if you have a friend, maybe your friend talks to the person who keeps feeding them drinks while you talk to the person who's maybe being taken advantage of, and you can say like, hey, I see that your drink is low. Do you want to get another Coke with me? It can be something as simple as that. Or, you know, if they're like, you're being weird, why are you asking me about this Coke? You can say something like, oh, hey, I think I know you through my friend Alice. Do you want to go talk to her to see, like, I'm trying to figure out where I know you. And so once you get them separated, you can kind of figure out the situation more. Oh, hey, yeah, I did actually just want to get drunk with my friend. Or, yeah, I don't know who that guy is, but he keeps giving me drinks. I don't know what's going on. And at that time you can ask like, hey, do you want me to walk you home? Or, hey, my friends and I just ordered a Lyft. Do you want to get into and we can go back to the dorms? You know, something like that. Or you can even ask like, hey, where are your friends? Are they around here? Do you want me to call them for you? Something as simple as that, you know, could help prevent a situation that maybe they didn't want to happen. And if you hear your neighbors fighting and it makes you feel really uncomfortable, that means that they're probably uncomfortable too. And if you think threats of violence could be going on, that is a time to call the police, because the police will be much more happy to respond to something where nothing happens than to respond to something where something does happen. And of course, there are unfortunate situations that just happen in seconds that you don't have time to respond and intervene to. Like this could be someone's passing someone else on the street and they throw a racial slur at them. I heard an example on NPR about a woman who was in Starbucks last fall and her friend got spit on and this man threw racial slurs at her and no one did anything. There was one woman who told the management that this had happened, but otherwise no one did anything. And so even just going up to someone after that happens and saying, hey, that really sucks. That's not okay. Is there anything I can do? Do you want me to call the police to tell them about this? You know, I will talk to them and be a witness for you. Also, if you witness someone being verbally harassed or have hate speech thrown at them and you're a safe distance away, you can always record that person, and that way you have evidence of the harassment and you have a visual of the person in case they run away. If you're a good distance away and you're safe, you know, it's not going to hurt to have that evidence for that person who is being harassed. So there are a lot of different situations that you might intervene in, and there's a whole bunch of different ways of doing it. But you know, even if you can't do anything else, calling the police is a good way to help. For me, intervention will probably always feel really awkward and uncomfortable because I hate confrontation. I hate it. I'm like, you know, I'm kind of shy to begin with, and then having to confront someone I don't know about their horrible behavior is like, you know, makes you feel gross. But if you think about, you're not confronting someone, but you are then diverting your attention to helping someone else and not even giving this horrible person the time of day, it makes it a little bit better because this person is dealing with this thing alone, and being an ally for that person and being supportive for that person is going to be much better than you regretting supporting and helping that person when you knew something wrong was happening. So I would love to hear your intervention tips, your stories, things you've done or wish you didn't do. So please share those. And I'm sending good thoughts to Portland, and I am hoping that those families heal in Portland, and I'm, you know, sending good vibes across the country. Look out for each other, stick up for each other. In the meantime, I hope next week is good for you all, and I will see you next week.